Yeah, Violet, I saw that Nick was back on live. Hey, Jordan, how are you? Hey, Violet. Hey, Angel Mama. I'm gonna wait till a few people get in here and then I'll kind of explain what I'm gonna do. Hey, Lauren. If you guys want to share it out, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Oh, I'm hanging in there, Jordan, doing the best I can. I'm doing all right, Lauren. Thank you. Violet, you may want to wait and see how this live's gonna go uh, before you do. This is an uncensored chat. There's no moderators in here anymore. There's nobody that is going to be muted unless it's racism or homophobia. I'm going to give people the opportunity. There's a lot of people who are really, really angry, and I understand that. I know that everybody's done their version of what they feel is maybe the best, but I want to have an accountability chat for myself tonight, and I want people to be able to speak freely within reason. No, Violet, don't apologize. I just don't want to bring you up on something and you not feel comfortable. Uh, not feel comfortable. I think there's a lot of people who are really frustrated and um, really angry, and I know that some people feel like waving the white flag is the best move for them, and I hope that that works for them. Um, I've been asked by a lot of people to be accountable for my actions, and I believe in accountability. I believe in being accountable for the things that I may have done incorrectly and that I plan to change moving forward. And I also believe in people not being censored just because they have a differing opinion or they're not somebody that necessarily likes one party or the other. Am I going to sit here and let somebody drag somebody and be homophobic or no, absolutely not. Am I going to allow racism? Absolutely not. But I am going to allow people from whatever side they want to call themselves an opportunity to chat. They can come into boxes if they want to. They can stay in the chat if they want to. Um, but I'm not gonna, and that's why I had to message several of my moderators and just tell them, look, this is nothing against you. This is to protect you. I don't want anyone to feel like I'm dragging them into some kind of drama. I actually don't want any drama, but I also feel like that a lot of people just think they can wave this white flag and say, okay, no more drama. We're just going to forget about everything that's happened in the past 6 or 8 months or however long period you want to say and move forward. And that's just not realistic for some people. If it is for you, that's great. And if it works for you and you can sleep at night, that's great too. It's not working for me. And so I'm going to try to do things differently. I'm going to try to hold myself accountable. I'm going to try to change some of my behaviors. And there's a lot of people that are frustrated. I have not turned off my mentions in my profile. I've not blocked people's comments besides, like I said, homophobic or racist comments. Um, I have left open, mentions. I have not made my profile private. I think it's great if some people want to do that or have to do that. But for me, I really have always built this platform on letting people openly communicate with me, commenting back and forth with them. I enjoy that, and that's what I want to get back to. Accountable for what? I'll let a few more people get in here if they want to join, Magoo, but accountable for ultimately, um, absolutely, Kiki. Hi, Ghostface. Accountable for ultimately holding a panel that uh, some people just didn't agree with. I was the one who was holding the panel, and I'm new to TikTok lives, but that's not an excuse. Hey, Nick, Karis, Lore, hey, Cheryl. That's not an excuse that I'm new to holding panels or anything like that. Hey, Haley. But I think that a lot of people have, thank you, Coco. I think that a lot of people have differing opinions on everything that's happened with whether it be panels making up, whether it be, um, you know, uh, calling a truce, or whether it be that some people don't agree with the way that conversations went. I'm one of those people, I like to just really, I really just, yeah, absolutely take a moment. And that is something that I um, am learning for sure. And I, I'm not making an excuse that I'm new to it or anything like that, but I am new to it. Um, and so I'm definitely learning that. And I feel like if I just tuck my tail when I have tons and tons of DMs saying, please, be accountable for your actions, be accountable for your actions. I'm here and I'm being accountable. The chat is not censored. There's not one single moderator in here. It may get me canceled, and that's okay too. Realistically, I want people to be able to voice their opinions. I want them to, within reason. I'm not going to, like I said, I mean, we're not going to allow homophobia, transphobia, anything like that. But I do want to be transparent. I absolutely want us to have, like Lauren's saying, a productive conversation. But at the end of the day, this is my panel and I'm responsible for it. And I have to do what feels best for me. And so that's what I'm doing tonight. This isn't something that I sent out a thing to people and said, I had made a live earlier event that I was going to go on at 9, but Blue was on, and a lot of people, as I, respect his opinions. And so I didn't want to get on when he was on, so I just kind of let my event go on. And um, so, yeah, this is just my stance. This isn't about any specific person. I will say for myself that I'm not somebody who's trying to keep the drama going. That's not what this is about. But I absolutely am not going to just say, okay, I'm going to forget everything that was done to me as early as last week, and I'm just going to move forward with this person because everything's gotten too heavy. And like, to me, that's fake, and I can't, like, that's just not in my character. Can't do it, won't do it. If I get canceled for it, heck yeah. But I absolutely, I can't. Yeah, I am going to have clear guidelines. I mean, I will say, I mean, one part of that though is I can't already know what somebody's going to say. I want to have authentic conversations. I can't automatically know what's going to come out of somebody's mouth before they say it. That is, I want to have open dialogue. I want to have differing opinions. It's not about sides for me, it's about character and behavior. Hey, DL, how are you? Right, I agree. Take a moment. Yep, absolutely. And I noticed there's a few people in here that have private messaged me, and I'm glad that they're here. And you guys, like I've said, I'll say it again in case you didn't hear. There's no moderators in here. You're open to say whatever you want to say, within reason. No racism, no homophobia, no transphobia, things like that. But I want you to have an opportunity, even if it's towards me. Like, get it out. Like, tell me what you want me to do to be accountable for you. And I'm not the type that is fake and going to say I'm taking accountability for that just because you say it. But I do want to hear everyone's concerns, and I want to take those. Like, my character is not the same as a lot of people on the internet, and I probably don't fit in here. But exactly, Indigo. And I messaged you and told you it was nothing personal. I don't want to drag anybody into what I say because I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. If you all decide that you want to continue to mod for me, I would appreciate it. If not, I respect that totally. I'm not here to necessarily shit on anybody, but I'm also not here to uh, baby and coddle feelings. Thanks, Hiren. And I've seen you in comments, Hiren. I've seen you get muted a lot. I don't want you to be muted here. I want you to talk. If you want to come in a box, absolutely. If you don't, that's okay too. But I want you to be able to get your comments out because I'll say, a lot of times when people are upset and when people are hurting, grieving, um, and when they disagree, when they don't always see things eye to eye, sometimes, um, we pin it all gets pent up, and then people just burst, and that's not. Oh no, Jody, don't feel sad or guilty at all. Meg, I'm just giving people an opportunity. There's a lot of hate. Y'all don't have to read between the lines. I'm being accountable because I held a panel that a lot of people felt went in a direction that it shouldn't have, that people were not treated fairly, um, that yes, towards me, Meg, absolutely. If you guys could see my inbox, could see the things that I've been tagged in, the videos that are out there, um, but I'm not going to delete and block people just so my stuff gets taken down. Um, I'm not being aggressive. This is just my normal tone. Take a moment. So if it sounds like I'm being aggressive, I apologize, but I just kind of have like a stern tone. And Rowdy Daddy, I don't, I'm not disagreeing with you. And I think you might be able to notice that I haven't removed myself from any of those. I've not blocked you. I've not turned off mentions. I've left everything. I've watched each and everything that I have been tagged in. I appreciate it. I want to see what you guys are seeing. I want to see things played back. Um, I've got to stand behind everything that's happened and things that happened on my panel or were said. And hey, Ben, how are you? And so that's just what I'm doing tonight. Um, Thanks, Guy. If anybody wants to get in a box, they can. If not, that's okay too. Thank you, Frankie. Um, I think that we all grieve in different ways, and I think that I've taken some time and I'm still grieving. This isn't about not being friends with any specific people or any group of people or anything like that. Yes, Miss T, I'm okay. Um, but it's more about just being being open for conversation, being open to criticism, being open to conversations about things that are bothering people. It's been really heavy in this world. Um, and I know that we all are dealing with it in different ways. And so I I told people today in private messages, they said they would like to see me go live and take accountability. Here I am. It was unfortunately a little bit later than what I thought, because I didn't want to get on when Blue Oranges was on. I mean, I enjoy watching Blue, and he hadn't been on in forever. So it just ended up being a little bit later. Oh, thank you, Miss T. And I make mistakes, I'm new to this. I'm open to, just like Take a Moment has been giving me some tips. I appreciate them. I mean, even if somebody that I necessarily don't align with came in here right now and wants to give me tips or come into a box, I can have an adult conversation. Um, but I don't do the fakeness. I don't do the whole, oh my gosh, we're all going to be friends and we're all going to forget everything that happened from this day forward. I think there's a lot of really painful things that have happened and been done as early as I mean, this week, last week. I mean, and I don't have to align that everybody chooses that they want to wave a white flag. Um, I don't want unnecessary drama, but I also don't have to align with the fact of, well, we're going to forget everything moving forward. Like, that's just not really my character. I don't expect you guys to forgive me for certain things either. Um, hey, Miss T, how are you?
Hey, you got me worried about you, Minty. Are you okay?
No, yeah, I'm all right. I'm just trying to be accountable, like trying to let people have. There's so many people that feel like they're being silenced, and
Sorry, I was tapping. That was an accident.
oh, oh, okay,
My bad.
you're good, Bobby.
Love you.
Um, love you, Bobby. There's just a lot of people that feel like they aren't being able to have their voice being heard, and I want them to be able to. I want them to feel like that they have a chance to talk about, within reason. I mean, I'm not going to allow racism, homophobia, transphobia, things like that, but I also see chats where people are just getting muted because they're not friends with somebody, and that just makes people more angry.
I will have to say, as somebody that is an observer, I've never gotten that impression about you. So I don't know what conversations you've had that has made you feel this way, but I feel like you have always have held yourself accountable. You have always created a platform, like a space where you, even when you're hosting, you're quiet most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know what has been said to you to make you feel this way. I can hear something in your voice. I don't think that's whatever has been said to you is representative of what you've done.
Yeah, and maybe it's not, maybe it's not, but it's coming from not just 10 or 12 people. It's not just one specific group. And so, they collectively, many of them said, if you're serious about being accountable, get on a live. Don't have it where we can't say anything and we're all getting blocked out. Let us speak. And so I literally removed every single one of my moderators who have done nothing wrong. And I want people to be able to speak. And, maybe I think in a way, maybe it'll squash some of the drama or a little bit of some people's resentments or whatever it may be. I don't want people to just be muted for disagreeing with,
But I
A,
think
B, or
you were
C.
doing that because you were maintaining the peace. I think because there's been a lot of things that have been said. Like you've said, people grieve differently, but there's been a lot of things that have been said. There's been some things that maybe shouldn't have been said. And I think you doing that was being accountable and holding yourself accountable and holding that space to be safe. You had to go ahead and mute certain comments that were being said because it has been very intense, extremely intense, and I don't think it's been easy for anybody with what has transpired. But I don't think that anything that you have done, anything that I've seen, at least, even with your posts, even when you've been up in different panels, I don't think anything that what you're saying. I understand things have been said to you. I don't think it's applicable to you. I think that maybe people will hold you accountable because you have stepped up and pretty rapidly, as well. And I think that people have identified with you on a different level than maybe other panelists. And I'm not saying that disrespectfully to anybody else, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that you've been like the voice of reason and the voice of calm when there's been like a lot of things that have been going on. So please, like, don't think that you're responsible or that you have to do this or that you have to change anything that you've done, because nothing, how you have, what you have done so far is nothing, is like, it's not part of like what has other things that have happened, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Can
appreciate
I
that.
say something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with the sentiment Miss T just said. Myself, I'm a little bit confused. I have been tagged in some videos, and my understanding that this is, the backlash to unfortunate event with our friend Matthew. Um, but from my point of view, and I am an addict, I have used the same substances that Matthew used, and this is just my opinion. I think it's ridiculous that anybody thinks that he was in some way made to do what happened. As an addict who uses these substances, every time we use, we're taking our lives in our hands.
Hmm.
And, this is what happens.
Yeah,
Uh, I,
absolutely.
I don't think that, and this is just my personal opinion, I don't think that it's anybody else's fault other than
Hmm.
Matthew's that he is no longer with us because, no one forces anybody else to do these things. It's a mental illness, in my opinion, and I myself suffer from this illness.
Right.
So I think it's disingenuous for people to blame that on some sort of dialogue that happens on an app. We in our personal lives have things that are much more triggering, so to speak. But the great thing is that there's a dialogue about this,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
people think about it. But as Miss T said, I think that you've been pretty fair in everything that you've presented on your page on your TikTok account.
Well,
And
I
that
appreciate that.
yeah, the other thing is like people need to be able to not like hate everybody that they don't necessarily agree with.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I quite like Evil,
Hmm.
but I didn't really appreciate her, making criticisms about men with younger women. Because I'm an older man and I have dated some younger women. And in my opinion, I don't think who consenting adults choose to spend their time with is anybody else's business. But they had their opinions on that and they have a right to their opinions, right? Just because I disagree with her doesn't mean I have to attack her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's sad that there's so much hate on the internet, but it is what it is. But
Yeah, and
you
it gets
heard,
heavy for a lot of people, and we all deal with it differently. I mean, I may deal with it one way, and then somebody else may, deal with it another way. And, the unfortunate thing is that, some people shut down and while others open up, and then some people just completely get off this app. And I hate to see that because I think that we all have built a community and a lot of really great people that come in with differing opinions, but we can still have adult conversations.
and that's the point is to have these conversations, right? If it's important, people should be able to talk about things.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's time more than ever to start really having those conversations, and it doesn't even have to be deep, but we can start talking about statistics. I think here, like this is something we witnessed firsthand, the impact of it. Like this is something that's impacting a lot of us. But it going back to you, Minty, like I feel like you've also been like the middle ground for a lot of things, and sometimes when you are like the neutral middle ground, people expect you, because of the visibility, they expect you to pick a side, and if you don't pick a certain side, they think that that's like you then agreeing with something or maybe opposing something, and that may not necessarily be the case. Like people tend to fill in the gaps a lot, and I think that has happened in at least like what has transpired, the I would say like a lot. What has transpired in the last 2 months, a lot of people have filled in a lot of gaps, and maybe a lot of labels have been thrown out to people because of certain visibilities and certain whatevers. And if you were in seen in certain lives or whatever, it was like you were agreeing to something or disagreeing. And I don't think that's fair.
Hmm.
It's not fair, right? And I think initially when the focus was on Graceland and the trauma that Nick had caused to a community of women, That got lost somewhere, right? When we're talking about subjects like we talk about, we have a very vulnerable population. We have people in our chats, we have people who are watching our lives that may be in turmoil and we don't know that. And there's this responsibility when we're in a box as humans dealing with such heavy topics that we have to have that awareness, right? We have to understand that we're going to have individuals on total different ends of the spectrum of where their mental health is. And if we're sitting in boxes, we can easily trigger someone and have no idea about that. And people being triggered, I know they're like, oh, that's an excuse. But if someone's in a state of turmoil and we don't know that, or if someone has just recently been accosted, we have to be mindful of our tones when we're speaking, of our stigma that we're adding to people who are suffering from the same disease that someone may be suffering from in the chat. You know, and we also have a responsibility that if we are getting to a point where we can't manage our own emotions, we need to hop down and we need to not interact in that moment. If we're going to hold people accountable for shitty behavior running Graceland and the things that another particular creator do, then we have to hold ourselves accountable to the same thing. We can't behave like the people that we're trying to bring awareness around. And unfortunately, as the host of a live, when people behave in such a manner, it does fall back on you. Even if that's not your intention, that's just the reality of what TikTok is, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's very true. And I mean, I am new to it, but that doesn't make it any, I'm not making an excuse. That's exactly right. Like I had somebody in a box a couple of days ago that made a comment that I absolutely do not stand for, but she immediately corrected herself and apologized and changed her behavior. And I reached out to her afterwards and said, that that's not okay. Like we can't do that. But I mean, what else can I do besides just like shun that person completely and say, oh, okay, well, you said a word that some people may find okay, but some other people don't. So, it's all about just finding a mutual respect. I've told some people things like words that I don't particularly care for. And, then the trolls come in and they use those words just to aggravate me. And so it's just, it would be nice but it's the internet. So, you're going to have people who do respect it, don't respect it. And, just some people want to be keyboard warriors and some people are here for the cause and for the reason that, we're all here for.
And unfortunately, the cause gets lost, right? When you start inserting yourself into people's personal lives, voicing opinions on that, like at the end of the day, we all came together because of two specific reasons. Two specific reasons. And as long as we continue to bring awareness to those two specific reasons without character assassinating people, screaming at people because you don't like the way they live, you don't like what they say, your message is not going to get lost. And the stronger we are with keeping up that message of the unethical behaviors of Graceland and the trauma that Nick enforces without going after people's characters, then we have the strength of thousands of us. We're losing that strength when we start going after individuals who are aside the institution and the traumatic individuals that we all came together over.
Agreed. And I think exactly what you said is like it's now really detracted from the attention of what was initially the focus, which was Graceland, and that's now become very diluted. I personally think that was by design. I think that Graceland is behind a certain number of what has transpired. I wouldn't put past it, like with Patrick and all that, because it takes away the attention from them, right? Ultimately,
It
because
does.
if we're talking about recovery and we're talking about sober living, and I know this is going to be a strong stance, they're the ones that are saying that they're the sober living house. They're the ones that took on Nick. They're the ones that was assuming that responsibility. They're the ones that are posting the contents. We're the ones that are watching it. At the end of the day, the question is this a sober living house or is this a content making house?
And we also need to be mindful when individuals leave institutions like Graceland, right? A lot of them are not in a stable mental place, right? We should not be promoting their crash outs. We should be promoting the capability to heal. As people hosting lives and in panels who maybe have a little more stability, we need to be aware that it's not always appropriate for those individuals to be in a box.
Exactly.
Very good point.
So, Mindy, I thank you for holding this. I know that, like, we have had differences of opinions in comments at some point. I do have to hop down.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Before you hop down, take a moment. Your voice sounds familiar. Were you?
I renamed my popcorn account.
Okay. I figured I was like, that name's,
Yeah,
that
I
sounds
renamed
familiar.
my popcorn account. I saw things that I did not like being involved in, and I realized that I needed to take a moment and kind of evaluate the message
Good
that
for
I
you.
was spreading and what I was perpetuating. And I never want to add to the stigma or in any harm, intentional or not, towards individuals.
Well,
So
good for
I
you.
named this to remind people it is okay to take a moment and recenter yourself if you find yourself getting to a point that you do not like.
I thought I
I've
recognized
missed
your
your
voice.
advice and sage
Yeah.
advice, popcorn.
And
I'm going to
popcorn, your
take a minute.
presence was very sorely missed. I think that if maybe you had stuck around, that maybe a lot of this would have been, there would have been at least another voice that would have advocated a little bit. And I think overall what was missing was advocacy. And that's something that really fucking pisses me off, honestly.
Well, if anyone wants to have an advocacy conversation and not go after characters, feel free to share it out to me and I will come in. Just as someone who has an ethical obligation when it comes to the addiction community, I need to step away when people are being hurt or stigma is being added. And, I think that when it comes down to it, right, our own mental health is important. The mental health when you're dealing with such heavy subjects of the chat is important. And the mental health of the individuals that we platform are important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hurley, what do you have for us tonight?
Well, today I was voted the grand marshal of my town's watermelon festival.
Oh,
So
wow.
let the laughs ensue and the funny stories.
Yeah, it sounds like it will be quite entertaining.
Well, I know it means I'm going to have to dress up and wave. But I was at a seminar all day today about the potential of using GLP-1s as like for alcohol use.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really
it-
interesting.
I know. I was really amazed.
Have you heard
at
about
the-
ketamine for that as well? I don't know if I
Um,
can even say that.
Yes,
Probably not.
I the practice I'm with prescribes that nasal, intranasally, and I don't though. I don't do that. But there are some people that do. I just think that's a liability in my eyes if you're not familiar with, if you're just writing it. I just don't. I just stick
Yeah,
to
I can understand that.
but going back to things that have been, I've been getting some not nice comments, and I just want to say that, there's a thing called the clean hands doctrine in law, and that means that if you haven't acted fairly and honestly in the matter that you're accusing other people of, you don't get to be eligible for equitable relief. So, putting posts up saying you're a bully and you talk about your patients, and which I don't, that's really been bothering me for the past week or so, because that's not true. And now, somebody
Sorry.
ESPN.
I know. Sorry.
now, now we're on a truce policy, and that's not my truce.
Well, I think that, we need to take away the word bullying when you don't agree with somebody.
Right. That's
That
not a catch-all phrase for a conflict with people. It
Yeah,
desensitizes
normalize
people.
having differential opinions. It doesn't mean that if somebody doesn't necessarily agree with you, and if they speak out against what it is that you're saying, or if they're trying to correct you, or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that they're bullying you.
Jason,
And
I never mistreated Matthew Andrew Drake, so I don't know where that comment is, and I don't know that he was treated poorly. I won't even co-sign on that.
I just think it's a sensitive issue, because I think we all witness. I think this is the thing. If people that have followed Mad for a long time, this is nothing new, right? And I hate to say it, because he is such a genuine soul. He is somebody that he's very deeply intelligent individual. That was something that was apparent a long time ago. I thoroughly really enjoyed that Mason the other day was playing his music. I think that was really fitting. I think that what Matt has shown us is that the level of which people hide things, and I think that triggered and that struck a chord with a lot of people. And that's a lot of like what has perpetuated. And with that perpetuation of it, a lot of things were elevated. And we can sit here and say that's normal and that's people grieving in different ways. But at the end of the day, we need to start having, and this is why I say advocacy is my number one thing. Advocacy, information, education. These are important things, because when we're having these conversations and when things happen, it's very important to start talking about the facts and start advocating for what are the resources out there, and advocating what happens, and what that this is something that is impactful in so many different ways. Because when we start bickering at each other and we start throwing names at each other, it takes away from what is the opportunity to learn and to grow. And that, I think, if at the end of the day, I think if anything, like what transpired the other night where the ladies all kind of kumbaya'd a little bit, that is because of Matthew Andrew Drake. And I wish that he was around to see that, because I think at the end of the day, that's what he wanted to do. That was what his message was. That's what was constituting him as a person. And it is what it is at this point. And not in a negative way. It is what it is, but I'm sad to see him gone, because he was a very genuine soul. You could see that. And I just feel my opinion on it, and I just feel my opinion on it, and this is just my opinion only. He was exploited. He was exploited on soft white underbelly, and people that saw what happened, and what he went through with that. There was a whole movement that happened with that when they witnessed that. And I think the same thing happened with Graceland. And I think that maybe he had some kind of encouragement where he learned through Soft White Underbelly, and he learned through Graceland, and he saw with Nick that maybe the social media was the way to do this. And he wasn't just cut up for that.
Well, I don't. I don't have any words for it. I just Minty, you're very non-monotone tonight.
No, I'm listening to everything and just,
No, remember what was said?
oh
After,
yeah.
let's all get on let's all call a
Yeah.
truce, but I don't know you and your monotone voice.
Yeah, I mean, I said a little bit earlier, I think it's great for the people that want to throw up the white flag and they want to forget and just move forward and things like that. And I mean, I have my own stance.
Right.
I think that's great for those people if you're able to forgive and forget and move forward. I'm not all about the drama or anything like that, but I'm absolutely not going to forgive and forget a lot of things that happened at the end of the last week, at the beginning of this week. That's just not how I work. And so, I think it's great for the people that are able to do that. To me, it's fake. And so I just don't go along with the fake narrative. I think that some people see it as growth, and I think that's great. I am not going to go looking for, drama or anything like that. But I also know that there's if I'm going to be realistic, this is going to be very short lived. It's like realistically, in my opinion only. And so maybe I'll be proven wrong, and that's fine. If it makes anybody else's life easier and happier, that's awesome. That's wonderful. It's just not going to, it's not going to change, I just know how it is. I've watched it since November. And so I'm more of like a realist. And
Right, you're a pragmatic thinker. I appreciate that.
yeah. And so, but I want everybody to have this space. Like there is nobody blocked in here. There's no moderators. As long as it's not racism or transphobia or anything like that, nothing. I've honestly not blocked one single comment. We're all here. We're not getting muted. Everybody feels differently. And I think a lot of people needed this because they were going into some chats where just because you're not on one side, you're getting muted, or just because you like this person. And it's angering people more. And so, I hope this helps some people. It may not. I definitely understand what people are saying. Let's take a moment for Matthew. And, he was a very pure soul. I've followed him for years on social media. Before I even got on TikTok, I talked to him on YouTube and things like that. So, it's a great loss, and I hate it, and it's awful. And, but I also, I just wanted people to have a chance, because there is so many things that some people feel, some other ones feel differently. And, and then Nick gets on today, and some people are distracted by that. And, so
Where do we think he
We
is?
already know I don't want to say it because
I mean, I think he slipped up a little bit and said South Carolina, but
yeah, that's what he said.
and honestly, I saw a clip. He doesn't look like he's doing good. So
no,
I don't want
he doesn't. He looks bloated in his face. Well, I get okay. I don't want to say this because I'm not trying. For the record, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, or this is my opinion, and it doesn't count for two shakes of a lamb's tail. But I don't think that he looked good. But don't want that to be misconstrued as me breaking him down.
Right.
And
I think that's another thing that I don't want in my panel is I don't want people to not be able to freely speak, though, too. What is the point of this? If not, we all have different opinions. They're like assholes. We all have them.
Right.
I'm realistic there too.
And I think I've told you, I don't want to go somewhere where I have to weigh my words, and then, because then it's not authentic. I don't think he looked good, but I don't know. I just know that there's been times that he's been on lives and she's been in the bathroom, in the bathtub. So what's to say that that's not this time? And I hope she's got stronger constitution than to do that again. But
just one second, Hurley. Frankiest, I have not blocked one single person. I've not muted one single person. I cannot. This is only my panel. I can't speak for anyone else. So you can say whatever you want as long as it's not racist, homophobic, transphobic. So feel free, roll out the comments, come up in a box if you want to. But not one single person has been muted and or blocked this entire time. And we've had many, many differing opinions.
And nobody's gotten really out of hand, I've seen.
Right, exactly. And
I think
anybody that wants to come in a box can, but I don't want anyone to feel like they have to come in a box either. Hey, Violet.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
Hi, Violet.
Hi, I'm good. I'm just here really just for a second. Just because I posted it. It's official. Nick is back in Greenville.
Oh, awesome.
It's 1,000% confirmed. And it's not completely official yet because we haven't seen her, but there was definitely someone in the room with him.
I saw him looking to his
Yeah.
left
Yeah,
before he
you
got
saw
up.
that too. You saw that, right? And I posted a little clip of when he was talking about Pat, and if you listen closely, you hear a cough, and it's not him coughing. So that it was definitely somebody else. And the only person who again, it's not 100% confirmed, but the only person I can think of that could be there with him would be Mariah.
Yeah, but she got into somebody else's live. It came into the live and said, no, I mean, we don't, she could just be saying it just to put people off the track, but said, no, he's definitely not here. I don't know of any other family except for one squirrely aunt that used to get into the lives all the time. And I forget her name. She had a weird name. PP or Pawpaw or Aunt Pawpaw or something was her name. I can't remember. But that's the only other. I mean, and of course I don't know his lineage, so I don't know who's got there. But I would just really, it would just really. I mean, my life would still go on, but I would hope that Mariah would.
But that's also, but the thing is like we know that these are facts of when we're talking about this matter. These are facts. And if that's what she's chosen, like nobody should give her shit for it either. Because nobody's been unless you've been in that situation, you don't fucking know how that goes.
Oh, yeah. Trauma bond is something that's already hard to break. Trauma bond between two addicts is insane.
Yeah, and I hope that whatever decision she's made, she's just safe and happy and not at any risk. But yeah, I mean, women go back at a minimal 7 times. I mean, it's real.
But we also don't know what Nick has gone through. To me, he does not look good. He does not look healthy. He does not look good.
He's probably been on a bus for 4 days, and then he's been sleeping. If it's been, what did it take him 4 days to get there last time?
I think it was 4 days. Yeah.
And I think
how long has he been since he left Graceland? How long has he been offline for?
I know that he left, I think it was somewhere around the 8th, but the last post he made on any kind of social was on Tweet, and I think it was like 5 or 6 days ago, which would be logical if he was on a bus and wasn't going live on the bus.
Yeah.
But
he did say he's been sleeping for 2 weeks, so I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm sure he honestly did need to decompress after, whatever he's been through.
Yeah.
What's up, Minty?
Hey, Blue.
Yay, there's Blue.
I was in most of your live. I just hopped off towards the end.
That's great. Thank you for spending time in there. I don't know if you were there when I was asking people. It was at the end there. I was like, what have you guys been doing, right? Like, it's like running from zombies. And a lot of people said that they came into your room and it really gave them a good place to recharge for a respite. So a lot of people said that. A lot of people. So I think
that's awesome. I know everybody was excited that you were on for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be short lived, right? But I don't want to get involved in any of this stuff. And I understand, like, some people do, and like, I'm not here to critique that. It's just not my bag, and I don't mind like coming in and popping in every once in a while, but for me, I just don't want to deal with it. How are you feeling having the boxes? Sorry, Mint, real quick. Slop, no. I wrote you what all I know, my friend. Like, I asked, I'm the same way as Mint. You can say whatever you want to say, just as long as it's not racist or homophobic or anything like that. And I said that a number of times. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's all I can offer you. I can't offer anything else. And I don't want that to happen to you, and I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Just real quick. I just want to hop up real quick. This is
Hey,
what and like everybody can have their own live, right? And everybody can run it how they want. This sheet right here, and I'm just showing it real quick. This is because the police were at my house today, okay? And here's why.
T,
Here's,
before you go, I'm sorry to cut you off. Can we
yeah.
put you in the big box because it's hard to see when you're in the small box?
I'll show it again in a sec. I just want to be able to not have to hold the camera here. Here's why. Because these trolls, the same ones that get unblocked, the same ones that are allowed to have their say, the same ones like that are allowed to be in here with old pictures of me, like Dust in the Wind, Ratty Tatty, who's been threatening me for months and harassing me. The same ones, like all of these people, oh, the TMZ one that's putting up the current videos and making YouTubes and all this.
I saw that.
Listen, I'm not here to argue, Poetic. This is a conversation. This is just how it is. I'm not here cursing. I'm not here calling names. These same ones, Jason as well, Poetic Justice, these same ones don't get a say in every live. So when you're complaining that you're muted in other lives, it's because of your nonstop harassment, your nonstop threatening. It's because of putting pictures up of me. It's because of your videos. So when you're saying that you guys should have a say, no, in my opinion, everybody's different. This is Minty's live. She can run it how she wants. You don't get a say when you're just 10 times worse of the bully. When you go around doing those types of behavior, but then complain that you're muted, it's gross. It is gross. TMZ, you've been tagging everybody
Yep.
in videos.
Tag Danielle,
that-
all of Graceland.
since yesterday. And the same with Frisco guy. So the police were at my house today. While I was on a call, they came and I had to mute because the police came to my house because these same trolls that have been calling the coroner's office, calling the police and all that, have left messages because they're not getting a response that they want, and the response that they want is not the one that they want at all, and threatening then, going so unhinged that you're threatening to do me harm on anonymous messages and anonymous emails to these places. So they had to contact the police, the RCMP where I am, to come let me know that my life is being threatened by these people because they're not getting the response they want by repeatedly harassing a DA's office and police and a coroner's office that are there. So these are the same trolls that think they should have their say in here. Same with Frisco guy and AJ, whatever he wants to call himself. All you guys running around with, why do we get muted? Why is this going on? Why can't we have our say? Because your say is disgusting. You're the same ones that have harassed multiple people and Mad repeatedly for months, but then you cry when you can't have a say. So that's how extreme this has gotten. So just so you guys know, that's why you'll get muted in every other place, because if I knew that Minty was getting harassed the way I am, like hell, you guys would be able to have a say in my live, period. Period. I would not, if I seen that Minty's pictures of her were in people's profile, would I let them continue to comment? Absolutely not. So you guys say you want change, you say you want this, you say you want that, you say stop to the bullying, but you're doing a million times worse and then saying, why do I get muted? Why can't we have our say? I'm glad we can have a place to talk. These are the same ones that have constantly harassed me, people in my panel, Mad himself for months. And you think you can have a say just because you're a troll and that you should have a say when you've done 10 times worse for the past 5 months? So this is what I mean. So that's why you guys don't get say. So don't complain that you're being muted when you're the same ones threatening my life because I had a disagreement with somebody. And when you say he was struggling, I've said multiple times, I'm struggling. I'm an addict. Does that make a difference to all you guys? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. You're just concerned about your own issues. And I can be upset if you guys had to go through, and this is not me cursing. I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm speaking the truth. This is what I'm saying. You are the same trolls that have continued to do this. You're the same ones in Mad's comments that have harassed him for weeks on end. The same ones that called him a pred when the Jordan stuff was talked about. The exact same trolls that harassed him. You've harassed me for months. You've harassed people in my panel for months. So do I think that it should be just open platforms that you all get to have a say when you threaten people's lives on multiple? Ratty Tatty is one of the worst ones. And people with my picture in their fucking profile that they deserve to have a say. If that's not bullying, then what is? But yet you want to see change. So how can that change happen when you are continuing worse than anybody's done? You're continuing the behavior, but you're worried that thank you for holding this live where we can all have a say. Trolls don't deserve a say that have done nothing but harass, bully, demean people, shame them, fucking body shame them, and fucking threaten their lives.
Yeah, and
You're
that's
the
not
same ones
that's
calling
not
the fucking
okay.
office. And these are the ones in here. Jason, Dustin the Win, Poetic Justice, that TMZ, Ratty Tatty, and they'll keep coming in
And I'm
because
not
they think they can have
saying
a say.
I'm not saying like this is forever, like, but I'm dealing with stuff on my end too, and I think I'm dealing with different ones than you are, and I apologize, but like I felt like that this would maybe let people have me be accountable. Like I haven't sat here and said I'm going to bring Teapot in here and I'm going to make her be accountable. Like this is all about me and like what these people are doing to me, like, and just trying to. But I understand what you're saying. It's not okay. Bullying is never okay. And like it's not like this isn't just going to be like my new normal that all these people are just uncensored and just can do whatever. I mean, I don't feel like that. I mean, I am sorry if I hate that you're going through similar things or worse, I don't know, than what I am, but it's not okay. It's not safe. We're both, we've both been honest that we both are in, our own sobriety journeys. It's not okay. And
It's not. Ratty Tatty, anyone in here that has followed any lives can vouch that you're one of the worst ones for months. For months. So like that is it. And I can tell you that Matthew's family, and I've spoken, they're being harassed and it's disgusting. They can't even grieve because of these fucking trolls in here. And it's gross. It is gross. When I have police show up at my door because the states have contacted them, they're worried about my well-being because of these fucking trolls that are in here. They're saying, why was I muted? But when you threaten someone's life, it's like, well, she shouldn't have said That's gross. That's gross.
I have a question, Teapot, and I'm not trying to be like confrontational here, but I just don't like it when certain things are just said as like a general statement. But when you say that Matthew's family is being harassed, have they told you this?
I have spoken to someone in his family that's saying that they've been nonstop harassed with messages about me.
And what is it that they're trying to say? Like they're trying to what is the context of it? I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, I understand.
The same narrative that the trolls are trying to push is what they're being bombarded with.
They want his family to press charges. I got the same email.
The same with the coroner's office, the same with the DA's office. The DA doesn't even have a case. They're saying they've told this to multiple people on these that want to do it anonymously, not have their name or anything. 50 plus emails from one person alone. And they're not understanding the response. They're not satisfied with the response. Like this is what I'm talking about. You guys need to stop. You need to stop. How can there be any change if you're still going? Still going. Edwin, you too. You're the one. Edwin, you're the one that was over on Favorited, on Dizzy's Favorited, with the same Edwin account, saying that my ex should have smacked me around more so that I would learn a lesson. And you guys are in here now preaching? Preaching, let us not be muted. Thanks, for letting us have a say. You're disgusting. You're a million times worse than I ever fucking was.
That's not okay. That's not okay. I mean, and I'm sorry that you're having to go through it. I'm going through my own fair share of stuff, and I know a lot of people are saying in the comments, oh, they've not been contacted or they've not been, but people have been contacted. People have been, uh, harassed. Like, I don't know what the end goal is. Matthew's gone. Um, Matthew, like, this is just, it's just a horrible situation all around. And, I think that a lot of people are trying to hold themselves accountable, maybe change their panels around, maybe do different things. But like, I don't know what exactly people want besides just for people to leave the app completely. I really don't.
I mean, that honestly is a bad idea. Let's be real. It's a lot. I think that there's a threshold, there's a line that was crossed. I think people are going to have different opinions of where that line, where it was crossed, where that was drawn. Um, you know, all I can say is that I have witnessed some of the most abhorrent fucking bullshit behavior on here. I really have. And over something that where it could have been educational, it could have been helpful, it could have really built up a community. And I'm sorry, it's not it's at the end of the day, it's on Graceland because they've created this, that they wanted it to have content. They're happy that this is happening. And like what Popcorn was saying earlier on, at one point we need to make a conscientious decision to turn around and change the conversation and stop talking about blame and stop talking about hate and start talking about the real issue at hand, because nobody can heal unless we have the right conversations. We are all aware of what has transpired. We are all aware of what has happened. We are all aware of what could have been done better. Put the blame down. It's either move forward, put the first foot forward. That's also part of recovery. That's also part of prioritizing mental health. That's also part of like making things functional. It's
Yeah.
time to move forward. And I thought
And
that
listen,
was the
I'm gonna
conversation the other night.
it was, but you got people like this that won't stop, right? They won't take a chance to see, do things change? Do people's attitude change? What do they handle things different? They'll keep going and they think they can have a say, right? And they'll be down here like, what about this? What about that? When they've done 10 times worse, a million times worse, a million. So I'm sorry if Edwin, Ratty, Jason, Dust in the Wind, and all you guys have your own say, but you're trolls who've done 10 million times worse. You've gone way off this app to do it. You won't stop. You also trolled mad. So don't come in here with your righteous, but thanks for unblocking and we can have a say because you're worse than anybody. So I'm gonna drop because I'm not entertaining the likes of this shit in comments because they shouldn't even be allowed to have a say when they've done 10 million fucking times worse.
Hey, Isabella, how are you? I don't think Isabella knew that she was up here. So, I mean, bullying is never okay. Like, that is not what this is about. Um, this is about having an open conversation. We were, oh, Isabella, that's fine. I hope you have safe travels.
I'm gonna drop down. I
Sounds
was
good.
just here to
Thank you
give
for the
the
Nick
Nick
update.
tea. Yeah, the Nick update. I'll try to follow through, and whenever I find or see something, I will post it. But thank you
Yeah,
for having me up.
I appreciate Violet. Thank you.
Same. Bye.
Yeah, I like men. I did too. I thought Isabella was back to us, but she's still on holiday. Are you still there, Miss T, or did you drop
Uh,
down?
no, I'm still here. I'm like reading some of the comments.
Yeah, that's
So
what I'm doing. Um,
Uh, I don't know. Maybe like I don't know. I don't know. I thought there was a step forward, and I don't know. I haven't been on, yesterday or today. It sounds like something else has transpired.
yeah, I
Um,
wasn't aware.
yeah.
Well, the Nick T is that he is back in South Carolina, supposedly. Panda, what do you suggest, since you're asking why do I keep dragging this out? Yeah, Violet, he's back in Greenville. Thank you for that update. If anybody wants to get in a box, feel free. If not, that's fine too. Um, okay, Panda, if you think it was covered, that's totally fine too. Krusty, it looks like that Nick's back in Greenville. No, I don't think that there's necessarily a resolution either. I just think that sometimes open dialogue can be helpful. I think that sometimes that is not what some people, um, maybe need. And if you don't, that's okay too. And nobody has to agree with anybody. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with any person on this app. Um, you can, we all have opinions and things. I'm not sure why so many people are being tagged in videos. I'm really not. I haven't turned my mentions off, but it's been completely overwhelming. And lot of there's a lot of tagging going on, and from a lot of people who aren't even, who are just watchers in this situation. Henretti, I've let you tag me. I haven't deleted anything. I haven't. Ether. Okay, I don't think they want it up. Well, everybody, I think that everybody got to talk about their opinion, how they feel, and you know, some people are gonna agree, some people are gonna disagree, and um, I just hope that everybody can heal. I hope that everybody can get some rest and remember Matthew. Somebody made a suggestion to me earlier. There's like ways you can adopt a sloth, and I think that would be really special if that's in your budget. There's like several reputable websites that you can do that for. And I think that, trying to turn this into something positive, remembering the sweet soul that Matthew was, and, um, you know, doing whatever's best for you, whether that means if you've got to take a break or if you have to, rely on certain people or groups. I think that that's definitely good as well. But I appreciate everybody, and I hope that everybody has a good night. Thank you, Miss T.
No, thank you. And I hope that your night gets better.